I've got all these things to do. Like, I can't afford to hire staff. So
that brings me to myth number 2. It's like you plan. She doesn't even know what these.
I have no idea.
Second biggest mistake: entrepreneurs and business owners trying to do it all yourself. Here, look, this is going to sting for some people, but one of the biggest costly mistakes you could be making is trying to do it all yourself. And here's why. First of all, why would you want? Most people became an entrepreneur so they could have more freedom.
Yeah.
How's that working out for you? When you're doing it all yourself, you went from jumping ship from one job to taking on like 15 jobs, right? You're working
the worst boss possible.
Oh, I know. And then you're just like this jerky boss that's just like doesn't let yourself take a day off. So here's the thing. Let's say somebody wants to make $200,000 in revenue this year. So $200,000 in revenue, there's 2,070 working hours in a year. Does that sound right? Something like that, roughly. Yeah. So that puts your hourly wage, if you want $200K in revenue, at $96 an hour. That means if you are, and this is going to take us to one of our other mistakes I'll get to in a moment, which is going to blow your minds. If you're committed to a $200,000 a year business, then that means at a $200,000 a year business, you as the owner, CEO, visionary, your time is worth $96 an hour. So when you go do something that someone else could be doing for $3 to $5 an hour, and yes, I teach my students how to get your first part-time virtual assistant for $3 to $5 an hour, and you choose to do that yourself, what you're saying is every hour that you work on one of these $5 activities, it's costing you $90.
Yeah.
And if you spent all year doing that, you're only making about $10,000 to $20,000 a year, which means it's costing you about $70,000 to $80,000 in lost revenue. Yeah. You lose $70,000 to $80,000 in a year because you told yourself the story, I might as well just do it myself, or I can't afford to outsource, or if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. But here's the funny thing. If you can't afford to outsource, number one, it's because you haven't been outsourcing. If you spend 90% of your day on activities that don't bring in money in the business, how the heck are you ever expected to make any money? But here's where it gets even worse when we talk about your subconscious. Yeah. If you can't afford to spend $30 to $60 a week to start getting your precious time back, at a subconscious level, what you are agreeing to is the belief that your time is not valuable, that you don't value your time. And if you don't value your time, how the heck do you expect your customers to value your time? Mm-mm. This is a much bigger problem than people ever realize. No. I'll just do it myself for a while.
Much faster.
It's so, I mean, like, people talk about how, look, one of the biggest problems entrepreneurs are facing right now is burnout.
Yeah.
And then when you look, they're doing it all themselves. When you're burnt out, you are useless and you're broke. In other words, you can't tap into your potential of who you really are and what you were put here to do, because you're sitting here fixing your About Me page on WordPress and formatting it for 3 hours.
Right.
That's your purpose? That's what you were here to do? Hell no.
Right.
OMG, no. So even getting someone to give you an hour or two back now will give you an hour or two to get back into your genius zone, back into those 5% revenue generating activities. That will grow the business.
You know, as you were saying that about like that net where you'll be about 10 or 20,000, right? You said that's where you'll be.
Yeah.
I started thinking about a particular client that I had that was doing the exact same things. And the amount of visceral stress that he was going through was nearly ruining his marriage. He gained 45, 50 pounds. He didn't show up for his clients. So it was actually a negative where he honestly could have made literally like $200,000, $300,000 that year. He was literally in debt, miserable. And his marriage was just a mess because he wouldn't let the death grip go, right?
Yeah. And that death grip is a big one, which, a lot of it for people is like the fear of letting go.
Yeah.
Especially when I work with our like multiple 7-figure clients, like they're still holding on to so much control.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother mistake of just this idea of control being an illusion. And, you think by doing it all yourself that you have more control, and you don't. And even the idea of thinking that no one can do it as good as you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so no one can format a blog post better than you. Like no one can edit a podcast episode better than, you know what I mean? Like there's just so much that a business needs. And it's very rare to find anybody who is wildly successful doing it all themselves. Just very, very rare. And that's the whole point of a business. This isn't a job.
Right.
It's a business. And it requires a team. Great businesses are built by great teams, and anybody can get started with a part-time virtual assistant for $30 to $60 a week. Anybody.
Yeah. And those systems you have literally laid out in your program, Business by Design, where you can
totally.
like seriously. And this is something that, and it's not that you're going to be absent of fear. Like, trust me, when I invested in coaching with James, I had all the feeling of like, holy crap, this is a lot, like all those things, but I knew it was the best thing for me. It's the same thing when I hired my first virtual assistant. I'm like, I was seeing it as money going out, but intuitively I knew I can't keep going on these $10 an hour tasks. They're killing me.
Yeah.
They're killing me. And I kind of went on the philosophy of, you know what, I'll get rid of the things I hate first because then I'll feel better. And so I got rid of like the accounting and those kind of things. I love numbers. I hate watching them. Like I want to analyze them, but the processes in BBD, literally when I was ready to go from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and 3 to, I think we have close to 10 now part-time. I was able to continue to use those strategies and those systems that were in there. But it takes that first one. It takes being done with it. Right.
And like, what are you really risking when you hire someone part-time, a couple bucks an hour? Try it out. It doesn't hurt to try it,
Yeah.